There are three situations that if allowed to play out, Ruto will definitely become a two-term president. The first is this: if Rigathi and Kalonzo continue to argue about sharing the cake in public, then turmoil is all that they can expect. Now, just to put things into perspective, I've recently seen the duo feuding over Nairobi. Apparently, Rigathi claims he was given the rights to field all slots in Nairobi, and that's from governor, senator, women rep, and most of the parliamentary seats. And Kalonzo on the other side is claiming that that is all hearsay. It's rumors. In fact, here's what Rigathi had to say.
Kati ya DCP na Wiper tutachukua viti 16. Na kati ya viti 85 ya ward between DCP and Wiper tutachukua 75.
And here's what Kalonzo had to say in response.
Na wache propaganda kusema ati Wiper imeachia DCP vitu vyote Nairobi.
Now, where have I seen that same script before? Oh, that's right, in Mbeere North, where Rigathi and Muturi argued about who should field a candidate, and eventually they all lost that election. Wamudende cruised through. Now here we are once again doing the same thing in Nairobi. If opposition leaders don't style up, they will find themselves losing terribly in the next election. Because we all know the saying, mtaka yote hukosa vyote. Decide on who you're fielding, field the candidate. Na yule candidate ambaye hapati nafasi, don't leave them out there in the wild. That is what happened in Mbeere. After Rigathi dropped Mbui and decided to back Karish of DP, no one did anything to try and keep Mbui in the fold. He went on to be snatched by Moses Kuria's CCM, and that is how they lost the election. Another question I would pose is this: where is Muhisa Kitui? It's the second time I'm asking this. Last I saw, he was designated the official spokesperson of the opposition. If you're the official spokesperson, why then are we having Rigathi saying this and Kalonzo saying this? Can't the two agree and then Muhisa should come out and tell us? Even when the results were being announced, everybody in opposition was posting their own things. Methu ameweka yake, Alice ameweka yake, huyu ameweka yake. You don't know which information is credible, which one is to be followed, which one is hearsay, which one is personal emotions. So if information cannot be streamlined during a mere by-election and in between now and 2027, then what we are doing is rehearsing to fail. You know, failing to rehearse is rehearsing to fail. It's one and the same thing. And that's what I'm seeing happening in Nairobi. Watabishana hivo, Sifuna will cruise through. Watabishana hivo, Sakaja will cruise through. Watabishana hivo, Esther Passaris will cruise through, and all these other parliamentary seats, it will be the same issue. Now, the second challenge that could cost the opposition leaders is them operating on the assumption that Gashagua is impeached and is just there to escort them. That is a very big lie. Gashagua can be cleared to run for president by the judiciary and the IEBC in a matter of days, if not weeks. And that's of course if the powers at hand see it as an advantage to themselves. In fact, just listen to Murara Kebaso explaining this phenomenon. Roll the tape.
Hii mnaita united opposition, wako united kwa sababu Gashagua hasimami kiti. Akiondoka Kenya akienda Marekani, wote wanalala. Akirudi upinzani inaamka. Akienda Marekani wanalala wote. Kuna mtu anaweza kuhold that rally. Akirudi wanaamka. Wanamtegemea. Na wako united kwa sababu kila mtu anaona ako na kura za Wakikuyu na za Mount Kenya ambaye anaweza kupatia mgombea yeyote, lakini yeye hasimami. Ngoja ile siku ambayo Ruto atasaidia Gashagua kushinda zile kesi za kotini, Gashagua aweze kuwa kwamba anaweza kusimama kiti cha urais. Na atashinda hiyo kesi kabla ya 2027. Na akishashinda hiyo kesi, atakubaliwa na hii IBC ya Ruto kukua candidate. Kwa sababu Ruto anataka Gashagua kwa debe, ili uchaguzi iwe rais aishape vile anataka kuishape.
From my perspective, Gashagua being on the ballot is only a liability if the current opposition leaders are petty children in adult bodies. I say this because if Gashagua is cleared to run and polling companies show that he's the preferred candidate and that's the actual thing on the ground, see mambo fictitious, then we had better not see some people throwing tantrums and deciding to go at it alone. Or in retaliation, they decide to join the two-term group. Because that's where the real challenge is. Selfish people. In 2022, Raila became the candidate. What did Kalonzo do? He tried to file in the last minute so that he could be on the ballot. But he was blocked. Chebukati things, you know. Now the question is, if Rigathi is cleared and some of the opposition leaders throw their weight behind him, will other disgruntled members switch allegiance by going to the two-term group? Or will they throw their own hat in the ring and in so doing giving Ruto an easy second term? That's something that they need to check on. Prepare for the eventuality that Gashagua runs. It's possible. Prepare for anything. Musiseme amekuwa impeached alafu mambo ibadilike. Third issue is finances. In politics, money is like mother's milk. And when I look at the current opposition, Gashagua is the only true baller. Others are former employees. Watu ambao waliacha lucrative jobs to come and try and see if they can lead the country. You're in a country whereby the citizens are so corrupt, achana the leaders wanaita corrupt. People won't vote for you without you putting something in their pockets. Malava in Mbeere North taught us that. Look at Malava, for example. DAP Kenya, a party which belongs to Luyas, has been created by Luyas, the party leader, the secretary general, it is just full of Luyas. But Luyas decided to vote for UDA, ambayo imetoka huko nje. Why? Because UDA was the one dishing more money. Wanapeana mattress, wanapeana pesa, wanapeana unga, wanapeana ahadi za uongo, but provided you're giving something, you will get the vote. If you know that you're dealing with that kind of citizen, kuna msemo inasema if you can't beat them, join them. So also put your finances in order. Tusirudi kujipata mahali ambapo opposition leaders wanashikilia pay bill tena, kama vile tuliona kwa hii picha Kalonzo na Raila wakishikilia pay bill. Now that's that, guys. Do drop me your comments in the comment section below. Do you feel like the opposition is going off the rails, or are they spot on with their current political activities? Do drop me your comments. I'll do best to read them and to give you a response.
Niliona President Ruto juzi akisema akiwa juu ya gari, na watu opposition nitawanyorosha asubuhi na mapema. Watu wako hapo wanashangilia, tutam. Sawa. Watu opposition wenye president anasema atanyorosha ni wakina nani? 1. Rigathi Gashagua. Number 2. Kalonzo Musyoka. 3. Martha Karua. 4. Matiang'i. 5. Nao wengine wakina Eugene Wamalwa ndio watanyoroshwa asubuhi. Sawa, tuseme amewanyorosha asubuhi, ameapishwa. Kutumia kura yenu nyinyi wenye mnahetu wa Kikuyu, mnasema you are going kwa hii ballot ya 2027 to teach Kikuyu a lesson. Sasa tuseme mmefaulu, mmewatich wa Kikuyu lesson, Ruto amerudi kiti, for another term. My question is, Rigathi Gachagua ni maskini? Haezi kula, haezi fanya mambo yake kwa sababu Ruto amerudi second term. Kalonzo Musyoka is poor. Ruto akirudi second term, mambo yake itasimama. Matiang'i ni maskini? Martha Karua ni mtu maskini? Eugene Wamalwa is poor? Hapana. Aya, wao pia wamesema sawa, umerudi second term, hatuna shida. After there, nani atakuwa ananyoroshwa asubuhi kila siku? Ni nyinyi wenye mnaimba tu tamsai. Kwa sababu mnafikiri Ruto akisema anaenda kunyorosha opposition, mnacheka Gashagua. Mnacheka Kalonzo. Hao ndio watanyoroshwa. You think hiyo loss itakuwa ni yao? Mimi nataka niambie wa Kenya, don't trust huyu mtu na power. Power is too sweet. I'm telling you, power is too sweet. Hata Uhuru Kenyatta ni vile tu ni mtu alizaliwa kwa hiyo power. Ni kitu alikuwa amezoea. Hakutaka kungangania, but angechange hata katiba. Alikuwa na huo uwezo. Naona kabisa yaweza kuwa na huyu jamaa anaweza badilisha katiba, atoe term limit. Power is too sweet. You saw what Moi did with power. I'm warning people who are singing two term. Mtarudi hapa kwa mtandao kwanza kumobilize watu waende maandamano. We have a chance to change this country in 2027. Let us not go to this election with spirit of revenge kwa Wakikuyu. It will cost us. I'm telling you. Hii mambo kusema wacha tuumie sisi wote. Wacha tuumie.
I'm looking at this by-election and seeing people vote for UDA, people cheering for the broad-based government, and people spectating that Ruto cannot be defeated, so they have no choice but to re-elect him. It icks me in a certain way. And in fact, it ultimately makes me agree with Plato and Socrates' popular criticism of democracy. Because come to think of this, how is it fair that you, a well-educated, well-informed, and intelligent Kenyan, your well-being and leadership is going to be decided by a majority of citizens who are not informed and not well-educated on making the right governance decision? That your life is going to be decided by a majority of these voters who vote for someone because of a 200 shilling bribe, or cheer and vote based on tribal alignments and embody nothing about proper leadership. That is why Socrates and Plato sees democracy as dangerous. But it is not because these people love tyranny. It is because democracy assumes that everyone is equally capable of making decisions and treats all voters' decisions as equal when they are not. In fact, Socrates asks a very important question. If you are sick, do you sit down to vote on the treatment, or do you directly let the doctor who is competent to decide for you? So an uninformed voter should not have the same voter power as a well-informed citizen. In fact, Plato was not saying that people are stupid. All he was saying is that uninformed people make an informed decision. Plato believes that the fact that democracy allows these uninformed people to vote, it becomes a certain kind of a popularity contest and nothing to do with competency. So this popularity contest creates a certain form of, short-term thinking, conformism, and a certain hard behavior. And that effect can actually be seen in Kenya. We think very short-term about our president and ignore his bloody, brutal past. In the confinement of that short-term thinking, we are enticed by little things such as Talanta Stadium or maybe a short road in Nakuru, but ignoring the long-term damage he has done to our country by the massive and open corruption. In this conformism and hard behavior, these uninformed Kenyans have buried their individual critical thinking, and now all their thinking is based on tribal alignments and not real issues. Look at the current discourse in Kenya. It is about Mount Kenya region, Luo region, if this and that tribe align, who will win, and they forget about the pertinent matters that affects them as citizens. Plato tells us that when politicians realize this, they become some sort of seducers rather than actually informers for the citizen. So they decide to pull off theatrics and provide short, comfortable lies and solutions so that the uninformed voters can forget the root cause of our problems like we are doing here in Kenya. Right now, these uninformed Kenyans are getting comfortable with Ruto, who to me is just a very charismatic clown. And now that if they re-elect him, I, who is very informed, will be bound by their poor decisions. My ideal form of governance must envision a meritocratic society where virtuous and wise men make decisions on behalf of the population. Look at how that has worked for China and how it has transformed that country. So when it comes to democracy, we need a reflection on the complexities of decision making in a very pluralistic society where everyone is not deemed as equal.
Ati black chocolate ni fine melanin bana kutoka nikapate kanapenda kenye mi wanapenda so kanapenda toto chupa na haga nono madam na kudai umedunga mini na unapenda mangwai una dance fit unawacha nikismile ama niko high jua life nice
kono moja mbele ngine yenderembe baila